Uh, Red Dreaded Entertainment, Comics Plus, doing the damn thing. Sorry, if my eyes are puffy, it's because I've been crying. I've been crying. Man. So, let's just get into it. Let's get into it. I'm trying to get the damn light on and everything. I just got back in here from Japan. No, I live in Japan. I just got it back in here from Hawaii. So I am a little backlogged with work to do. And that was my first thing to wake up to right now. Stephen Amell, he announced that he will be finishing the arrow row. Should have thought about this before. There you go. Much better, right? Whew. So, Arrow is coming to an end. Arrow is coming to an end. Arrow is going to end on a limited 10 episode run in season 8. Technically not next year, actually. This year. Unbelievable. But I mean, the writing, in some ways, we've seen the writing has been on the wall. There's been some rumors that have been sort of addressing that. And then with last year's mega event, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Last year's, what was that called anyways? Elseworlds event. We saw that Oliver had to make a deal and such. And we kind of knew that maybe the writing was on the wall instead of Barry being the one that dies in Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's going to be Oliver. So let's see what Stephen Amell, he said about 4 hours ago. Playing Oliver Queen has been the greatest professional experience of my life, but you can't be a vigilante forever. Arrow will return for a final run of 10 episodes this fall. There's so much to say. For now, I want to say thank you. That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. Like a bunch of people leaving the shows and everything, but that one kind of hurts the most, especially with with The Walking Dead. You know, people leave shows, but shows don't end like this. And for me, it's going to be a little weird because this was the show that started what we call the Arrowverse. Are we changing the name now? Can we have the Arrowverse without Arrow? I mean, I'm fine with them continuing. Like, look, we just see Oliver and company, or just Oliver's company, riding off into the sunset sort of thing. We know they're around, right? But I mean, I would love if they would just show up every once in a while during the crossovers, and I'd be down for something like that. But this was actually a joint decision by Mr. Amell and Mark Guggenheim. Like, they decided to end it creatively. They decided to end it next season, and if you look at the timing of how this begins, or how this is going to end, it's ending leading up essentially to the big crossover that we're having. So, which is going to be Crisis on Infinite Earths. I really wonder if they're going to pull all the stops out for this one. It'll be interesting to see how this one works. I don't want Oliver to die. I do want them. I actually want them to end it very similar to the way they began it, where Arrow very much started out as this kind of like Christopher Nolan Dark Knight homage type of situation. I personally would just fucking love if after 8 years we just do see him, Felicity, sort of just ride off, and you see Diggle with a cup with a glass of French, what the fuck was that called? From black, like, you know what I'm talking about, with a glass of wine. They don't say anything. They just smile, and Diggle knows that Oliver made it. Like that. I would love for just a nice, beautiful ending, a true ending. Don't give us that Smallville shit, man. Like, nah, man. But would I have liked it to go 10 seasons? Yes. A good 10 would have been great. A decade of Arrow would have been great. That would have lined up, especially with my own sort of journey. Arrow and I sort of started right around the same time when I came to Japan. I've modeled a lot of my life being influenced by Arrow. I became the YouTuber I am because of Arrow. A lot of my shows and what I was reacting to was dictated by the Arrowverse, and it would have been nice to have ended it all at the same time. I might, at this moment, I feel, especially with the way WBTV works nowadays and all the copyright claims, and the Flash isn't as good as it used to be. Uh, Emotionally speaking, maybe I'll pull a TWD like other people have done and just stop covering the other shows and what have you. Not, I don't know. Let's cross that path once we get to the crossover and things like that. Let's see how they end it, and if I feel like it's not really worth it to deal with any of the other shows anymore, I might pull the plug on that as well. But it's an emotional situation. It's an emotional ride for me, and I know a lot of fans out there that Arrow was the beginning of something amazing, and I do sometimes wish that WB respected it a little bit more, and also in the sense that they would have incorporated it into the movie world as well. I feel like that there's a lot of lost gems here in the TV world that could have been incorporated into the movie world so much better, so much more. But for now, I am just going to say thank you, Mr. Amell. Thank you, Mark Guggenheim. But thank you, everybody on the cast and crew that has brought us Arrow for over 9 years here. Almost every season has been fantastic. And, you know, I respect your decision, and I'm looking forward to it ending on a strong. Like, for me, the only thing that bothers me the most is that Arrow is the only show, DC TV show I like. Well, in the Arrowverse is the only show that I look forward to every week at this point right now. And it sucks that we're gonna, like, the front runner of the show is so good. This prison arc has been so good. When I tell people in Hawaii, when I met people come up to me like, "Hey, are you Akasan?" And we're talking, they're like, "Man, I can't watch the Flash anymore." And I'm like, "Yo, but what about Arrow?" And they're like, "Yeah, dude." Like, I'm like, "Keep watching Arrow. It is so good right now." And it just sucks that it's coming to an end. But I rather it end on a high note than to just have mediocre seasons after a while. So the only other thing I'm kind of curious about is if Batwoman is going to take over in that slot afterwards. I don't know. That's the only thing I'm kind of curious about with the promotional sort of arc. I'd rather they just leave that shit blank. Nobody replaces Arrow's time slot anymore because everybody's going to be comparing. Um, I'd rather we not really get a replacement. I know we need something to fill that void, but I don't know if I really want to be jumping into like Batwoman as the replacement of Arrow. That's some heavy boots to fill. I'd rather Batwoman just be developed on her own sort of path, I suppose. Um, but fuck, man, that's heavy. All right, Red Red Nation, stand up, speak up. Tell me, what do you guys think? What does Arrow mean for you? Thank you, Captain, for everything. I just set this shit up this year too. And I got 2 outfits and everything, man. I'm out of here, guys. You have failed this news.